Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to this panel. My name is Andrea Gluščević, as the colleague said. I'm coming from the Office for IT in e-government, and I will be moderating this panel. The main objective of this panel is to recognize the common ground between the government, academia, and NGOs regarding collaboration, co-creation, cooperation, and improving the dataverse. As you can see the word data everywhere. Data here, data there, data everywhere. But do we truly need all those data? Do we have the data that we need? What are our goals regarding data? What we are trying to do with all those data? Are we trying to copy and paste, not adapt? Should we adapt? And then adapt things that we saw on other places and then adapt to our needs. How the government stands now regarding data. Are we moving on a pace that we envisioned a few years ago? That are all the questions that I will go through with my colleagues and friends here on this panel. And sometimes when I think about all the things that we have done, I think, oh, we're moving too slowly. But the thing is, in past few years, actually 5 years, we did a lot. Imagine just 5 years ago, if you say like Power BI, nobody would know what Power BI is, or reporting or data visualization in the government. But nowadays, everybody wants the Power BI, the reports, data visualization in the government. 5 years ago, we didn't have an AI institute. And just a few people and few chosen ones knew what real open data is. So we moved a lot. And today I will discuss that movement with my friends. As my colleague said, we have Jelena Ruzicic from UNDP here representing the team NGO. We have Mr. Ćulibrk here representing the team academia, and Bogdan representing the team government. So last but not least, my friend Bogdan and my colleague from Office for IT and e-government. So Bogdan, where do we stand in government regarding data? What are the obstacles and problems that we're facing, what we are planning to do, what we did?
Well, what we did, well, actually, I think three really important things happened 5 years ago that allowed us to really think about data and to act upon it. So first one is in expose of Prime Minister Ana Brnabić in 2017, when digitalization was a top priority. And soon after that, IT office was founded with agenda to push that data to create ecosystem for developing of data actually accept that the law of e-government also was one of the important things in that. Now the IT office, we basically did two streams of action, let's say it. One was promoting it, explaining it to broader audience, but we didn't promote it. We didn't promote it just sitting from Belgrade and promoting to presentation or something. We really had a team that went out there around Serbia and yeah, literally we go to local governments and explain to them what is the importance of data, how they can use data to really to gain some let's say insights, not just insights, to maybe offer some interesting services to their local community. So except that with promotion, we also did some great work on infrastructure, so we can allow the data to be exchanged. And so one of the major project was building the data center. That's state data center in city of Kragujevac. That's secondary data center. The first one is Belgrade, and except that we established a national AI platform in that data center. Except that we kind of have a little bit, it's strange to say it, but strange help from COVID-19 outbreak, because that really pushed us to look more carefully in data and to see how can we use all the data, because all of a sudden we had massive amounts of data. So we figured out how to manage the data, how to group them, how to connect data so we can analyze it and make the whole plan for vaccination.
And the thing is, you mentioned the Kragujevac and data center there, and also living there is what, supercomputer?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Supercomputer that we installed, I think, 1 year ago, and after establishing it, we had a plan to use it for let's say try to make our e-services better, maybe create some new services, but except that we wanted really to whole community use it, to academia, to also business. When I say business, I mean startup companies. So we signed the agreement with more than 20 institutions, faculties, universities, science technology parks, which through that agreement we came to 18 startup companies that are using our national AI platform for free, of course, with same terms and conditions for every
and
startup.
one of the user is AI Institute.
The first one, actually.
Yeah.
The first agreement that we signed was with
and that is
Professor
a great
Dubravko.
intro to our next speaker. And the question is the same. What are the obstacle challenges? What do you need? Do you have it all? Do you need something more?
I would say you can, you always need more data, right? And it's I think beforehand it's kind of hard to actually envision, even for the data provider, what you can do. And I didn't know this was D4D actually, but ages ago we entered the D4D challenge, which was done for, I think, Ivory Coast. And Orange, as a telecom provider, just gave anonymized aggregated data of the use of different, cell phone stations all over the country. And they said, do something relevant with that. They didn't even have a description of what you need to do. And we were playing around with students, and I asked them, okay, so what is the biggest problem that Ivory Coast has, right? And so they started Googling, and they figured out it's AIDS. Okay, can we use this data to predict what the AIDS infection rate would be in different parts of Sierra Leone, just by cell phone data? We actually got second prize on that. The guys went to MIT to present it and so on. So what I'm saying is, you can never have enough data. It is true that, and when I teach my students, usually people say data mining, and in Serbian it's a bad sort of a translation, which translates sort of to researching the data and so on. But that kind of does not really convey the amount of effort that you need to put in to get that data in a form that is easily consumable and so on. And so for us, having open data is something that really helps us. Even having the ability, and for us, of course, the AI supercomputer is a great thing for us. Everything is there, right? But what we realized, and what people may fail to notice, whatever we do in research, and we do, we use some data that is sensitive, it's anonymized and so on, but we don't ever now store it back at our place, right? We just make an arrangement to put it in Kragujevac. It's right next to our supercomputer. It's super protected, it's much easier for us to do stuff now that we have everything collocated and so on. So, yeah, for me, and a good example is Slova here has an initiative of open NLP resources and so on. We did a recent project doing some sort of sentiment analysis for Serbian to help out, and UNDP was kind to help us with that. And if we didn't have an open model that somebody gave, it would be much harder for us to do anything. So we are struggling. We are trying to actually get more of these resources that can be used freely. Maybe they can be completely open, but that can be used by other people to build upon that. And so an AI is sort of, there's hardware, there's data, but then sort of through that you build the models. And the models are sort of a new level of data abstraction that makes things even easier. To build new systems.
And in all of that, you need open people and open models and people willing to be open to the change.
Yes, you also need you need lawyers to tell you, if I use this data to train my model, who owns the model, right? Can I share it with everybody? Is it?
And the shared knowledge.
Yeah. So for us, the limitations right now, the technical stuff has been sufficiently addressed for us, and even if we need more computing power, the people around the world tend to help us, but it's just more of getting this sort of a pipeline in place of how to reliably and ethically and trustworthy access the data, store it, reuse it for research, and what to do with these models later. So it's more procedural stuff for us.
And with that note, we're coming to you, Jelena. What is the situation in NGO sector regarding the data?
Yeah, first of all, I might say we are not NGO, we are international organization, but nevertheless. But let me take you one step back. Actually, Bogdan said that breaking point was 2017, and it was when the digitalization became a priority. But we made, as UNDP, some small steps before that, 2017, when actually one person in this room had a vision and brought an term and activities related to open data in Serbia. So Irena, wave, you're that person with a vision. And when Irena came in, people were probably asking, what is open data? What do we need it for? And now, some 5 years after that, we have the open data portal and enormous number of resources of that portal. But coming back to question, actually what Dubravko also mentioned, we need an enormous quantity of data to train different models, predictive analytics, etc. This is one of the areas we consider to be very important, the open science. When we spoke some few weeks ago and they asked me, open science, what? And I said, in order to build the models, in order to help other people build their AI models, you need to open the models you did, you need to provide the data sets which are coming from the research projects and give it to the world so they can build other solutions. A lot of big companies have done that already. They are the ones who never opened before, now they're opening data sets, models, etc. I think Serbia academic institutions should join that and should become aware of that, because I was witness on many research projects which were financed by the EU and other actually entities, that actually prototypes and data sets which were produced were kept within the country but never used before, never used for any public good or any public service. Unfortunately, if we keep it for ourselves, it will never be used for good. And I must say actually that UNDP was one of the pioneers in this country, actually the Accelerator Labs and my colleagues who are sitting here, who first understood actually that if you want to tackle the issues which are complex social challenge like depopulation, which they did, you don't take one data set, you don't take two. You take data sets from different sources. Some of them are traditional, like statistics, but some of them are very untraditional in our sense of viewing things, like telco operators, like Google, like maps, etc., and like satellite images. And this is very important if you want to understand. And they did. They also organized a data challenge based on the data sets they got for that. And some very interesting findings were there. And we were happy to share the links afterwards if you want to take a look. But what I also want to take attention to is, let's say, something which is close to my heart. Serbia has an enormous pool of talented children, also in the STEM science. But if we want to have them more, and if we want to have them more girls going to the STEM science, we have to also understand that complex issue, what is happening and why they are dropping out from the STEM science in a school. So this is also one, let's say, social challenge and one challenge area for the future, let's say, for UNDP to understand and to work on.
And that is thank you, Jelena, and that is a great intro for our second question. And I wanted you to start with the second question, and that is, what can we do next? What can we improve? What are the area for collaboration? How can we work together and join forces within different pillars and with different views?
Yeah, I would start for data are not mine. Even though I produce the data within my work, they are not mine. They belong to the world. And if that understanding of data also we transfer to, first of all, private sector, then academic institution, then to the government, then we can do something. So we have to work with all of them, actually, that they come on one place to understand that the data are for greater good. And to, first of all, they have to be standardized, of course, that they have to be reusable, not just to publish them in any format, but in format which will allow you easy reuse, and to understand the value of the data, because their data are maybe not so valuable for them, but maybe somebody else sitting in other institution will see the greater good in that. I mean, greater cause and greater how they can be reused for some other purpose, another challenge. So this is one of the thing we are going to work in the next few years through our Open Data Hub. This is one place to connect them all, business, academia, and government. And one person who is sitting also here, you, who will be working there, evangelizing people in those three, let's say, silos. So, and we'll see the results in the next few years. We hope in the next 3 years we will have the open science, open business, and open government.
Let's hope so. I'm a great believer, so I think that we can make a change. Dubravko, the same question.
For me, it's sort of, we are not usually the producer of the data or the owner of the data. We are, maybe you could view us as a data processor or something like that. So there isn't much except to advocate and try to support good initiatives that we can do. But what we sort of, or at least I was pushing, and I think I convinced everybody on board with the Institute, is that, so we did and set up a good IP protection office. So we already have patents, and not all of them just national and so on. And the idea behind that is that once we do something with the model, we will patent it and protect it. And everything that we do, because we are supported by and we are a government institution, will be free to use in any form for anything that you apply in Serbia. So we might make money on that, but not here, right? And the idea is actually, if it's something, we're hoping that the stuff that we do is going to be regionally relevant. So we hope that this will extend to this broader region of, I don't know, Southeast Europe or at least Balkans or something like that. But that's where we can help. So not maybe with data, but maybe with models and technology that will make it easier for the other institutions that want to apply AI to do it here in the region, and to make a difference. We didn't come up with anything better than that. I'm afraid, but I think that will help quite a lot. It's not unusual in AI. A lot of the stuff is open source, or all our top conferences you can easily access openly. A lot of the code is shared. There is a sort of, even when it's done by a company, a lot of the models are shared, like NVIDIA has a bunch of them and so on. Pretty much every framework that we use it has a lot of open resources. it's a little bit sort of hard to ensure that they work as you would like them, and maybe the performance-wise, a lot of it's uncurated. But I see that whenever you provide models for something and provide the basic technology, then it sort of helps. And I think that would sort of lean on this DGX supercomputer that we have, to make it more usable and easier. Even now, it works like that. You would sort of have the environment set up, you run it, and you already, everything is there for you to start experimenting. So you don't start from scratch, for sure.
If I may add, actually, this is a call actually for all the startups and young teams and maybe the people who are working in a data science. So watch for what is AI Institute is doing. Maybe you will get soon something which is in the open source formats. You can apply it actually in a state, in your business.
Actually, with the startups, we really want to help out our scene. For a startup, it's really important to have IP, right? And this is where we can help. And we are very trying to be creator focused and leave it to the IP creators. So we are very, very flexible in terms of we'll protect it, but we'll do our best that the licensing terms work for you and that you can grow and so on.
And regarding the supercomputer, the one person that is constantly communicating with all the people that are interested in having a little bit of space on a supercomputer is you. And the last question for you is the same one as for others. What are the next steps? Where the government see the possibilities for cooperation? And
well, actually, we have great cooperation in the last, well, not 5 years, like Jelena also mentioned. I think that UNDP worked on that open data portal and open data in 2015 or something like that. But and UNDP strongly support us with all our activities regarding open data and data in general. Now, also great cooperation with that we have with AI Institute and other academian universities, faculties. There's really a lot of enthusiasm in this team. Data, AI, that's the future of the world of our country. I mean, it's the present also, but it's gonna be also our future. So I think that if we want really to push through and to get really a big breakthrough on data, on open data, on anything, we really need to have a joint effort from business, from not just from government, but from business, from academia, and also from NGOs.
thank you. And since you said we should work together, I think that is the thing to sum it up. Because I believe that stories are the data with a soul. I think we should end up with a story. We have well-known story about 7 brothers, and if they join together, you can't break them. But here we can talk about, for example, 4 brothers. One is the NGO or civil sector. One is the academia. The second one is academia. The third one is government, and the business is the 4th brother. And they can bring a lot to the table that is different. The different views, the different way of thinking, the different approach to data. But with each different point of view, we can have a better story, and we can work together and create one massive pillar that is strong. Each of us can live by its for standalone and work business as usual, but the thing is, if we join forces together, I think we can make something great, and I really believe that we can do that, because I am witnessing the greatness in past 5 and 6 years regarding the dataverse, and we are changing. So I think if we join forces, that is the opportunity to grow. Any other thoughts to add on the end?
Portal, open data, and follow the open data hub.
Yeah. And AI Institute and everything that we are doing.
For us, as I said, if anybody needs help while we're working on the models and opening them, just reach out. If you're a startup or whoever, maybe we can do something. And maybe we already have something that we are not ready to release in the form right away, but we can make an arrangement so you get it anyhow before the public release.
Yes, we are also always looking forward to hear from some startup if they have a need to use our infrastructure. That's the point why we get it. So
And the government is giving that infrastructure for free.
Yeah, free, and
That is something to...
same terms and conditions for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're from north or south part of Serbia or whatever. So
That is a great thing. In the end, I wanted to ask if somebody has any questions or... Yeah.
How can you be reached?
Me or others? We all.
For me, it's the simplest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world has this combination of the name and the surname. So if you Google me, it's just me. And there's a super old website, but if you click, it goes to my Gmail.
Do you know what the funny thing is? Do you know what funny thing is? I think that my name and last name is unique, but I married a man whose brother has the same name as I do. So we share within the family share the same first and last name, but he is a male and I'm female. So that is a funny thing
there you go.
about data. So you can reach us our name last name and on it.gov.rs. That is for Bogdan and me, and you can reach Jelena through the UNDP, and you can reach Dubravko through the combination of the name of the last name.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Any other question? So we are done ahead of time. Yeah.
Well, we can still chat.
Coffee.
Yeah,
Go
we
for
can have
coffee.
an extra coffee. Yeah.
You still have 10 minutes.
And I have the time here for 3 minutes and
We did not. Yeah, wrong data.
yeah, wrong data.
See, open but wrong.
Yeah.
There are some issues with
It's
that too.
just eye visible data.
I just read a Wikipedia article, which, by the way, we use the Wikipedia to train a lot of our NLP models, and it says that the black panther, is usually found in different parts of Africa, plus, a town in Serbia. but like officially, right? Somebody added it. Right? So yeah, you have to be careful with it. That's the other part. Sometimes there's a lot of data, but if it's not curated, it's not really, you have to spend time to figure out if this is the real thing. Right?
So that's it from us.